This is the ShedCast. It's the official podcast of the Irish Men's Sheds Association. Today I'm delighted to be down here in my own home county of Wexford, in the Wexford Working Men's Shed. Here today with Martin from the Wexford Working Men's Shed, with Sinead and Jason from Family Carers Ireland, and with our own Rebecca McLaughlin. We're here today to talk about one of these things. We've been doing a run of things that are sort of, we're not inclined to talk about so much. So as part of the Sheds for Life programme, health and wellbeing programme, we partner with Family Carers Ireland, and we do a module. It's part of our flagship programme. Today we're gonna chat a bit with Sinead and Jason about Family Carers Ireland, about what they do and the supports that are available. We're very aware that in sheds there are men who are either being cared for or who are carers themselves. So we know that there's a lot of men who are either using the services or who could avail of the services, or who will know somebody who might be able to help with their situations as carers. So I'm going to start with you, Jason.
Okay.
Can you tell us who are Family Carers Ireland, and what are the kind of supports that you guys offer?
Well, Family Carers Ireland is the national organisation to support people in a caring role. Those people might be caring for someone with disability, either in childhood or adulthood, with debilitating medical conditions, with problems linked to old age and frailty, or people with mental health or addiction issues. So it's usually a family member. It doesn't have to be. It can be a neighbour, a friend, who's supporting someone who needs that bit of support, someone who's not maybe as independent as they might otherwise be. And so Family Carers Ireland is here to try and support those carers individually. At a local level, we'll try and support carers with advice and information. We'll help them with their rights and entitlements, such as being able to get a carer's payment, or with housing adaptations, and we can talk about all sorts of issues like that for carers. We also support carers by providing training and education. We want carers to be able to sustain their caring role, to be able to maintain it in what is usually the long term. So in order to be able to create a good routine that they can manage their caring role into the future, without hopefully nearing burnout at any stage along that way.
Gotcha, yeah. And you say that, as you say, people can become carers for a multitude of reasons. It can be accidental, it can be various things.
Various things. It can happen overnight. There might be an accident which leaves a life-changing injury. It can be disability diagnosed at birth or in early childhood, and you're in that caring role then pretty much for the rest of your life, as many parents will tell you. And it can be just looking after someone who's not as independent as they used to be. And those caring roles tend to start off very small, but then grow and grow as time progresses, as the person requires more help. So someone who's not independent, needs a bit of support, we regard you as a carer, even if it's only maybe a few hours a week, because we need to be able to keep people along that path as their role becomes more and more demanding. Make sure they're able to sustain that role.
Yeah, getcha. Sinead, I'm going to come to you. Can you tell us a bit about, what, to what extent are there carers? How many people would be acting as carers in
So I suppose a lot of people don't even realise that they're carers, Ben. But recent statistics would say that there's about 600,000 carers in Ireland. I think up to recently it was 500,000, but it's up now to 600,000. And then I suppose male carers, which is what we're kind of here to talk about a little bit today, wouldn't be, I suppose, it's prevalent, but people don't know that it's prevalent. I suppose that we have as many male carers. So, like in the recent census, I suppose 2 in 5 family carers are men, and but in the recent State of Caring report survey, the responses were only 1 in 9 were men. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, so there's a sort of a discrepancy there.
Where people are not identifying, I suppose, or men are not identifying as carers. Over the spectrum, I suppose, a lot of people would not identify as carers, which we'll get to, I suppose, when we talk to Martin further along the line. And I suppose that's why we really appreciate the opportunity here to come on and talk about it with the men's sheds, and and explore it a bit more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because as you say, there may be many men who are
not realising,
that
that they're in a caring role.
Identifying
exactly
as carers,
that, and not realising that there is support available, and what's out there and what can be done to help you.
Well, I mean that's a massive thing, because I mean your experience will speak to that. And what's it mean to be a carer in Ireland today?
It can mean many things. I mean, it depends on the caring role, your relationship with the person you're caring for. As you're saying, that people might not identify as carers because they think, well, I'm just being a husband or a father or a son.
Yeah.
I'm just doing my familial duty with my loved one. That's why we say there are 600,000 people, because we include the people who require that small amount of help. Yeah. When you progress to a full-time caring role, and as the Department of Social Protection would describe it, at the very least 35 hours a week of interacting in a caring capacity for someone supporting them. I've lost where I was going with that. So it becomes more obvious when you reach the levels of full-time caring role. But we collate those 600,000 people, those numbers, so that we can lobby on behalf of carers to the government, because the government needs to take into account every single hour that is provided in caring, and facilitate enough supports for those carers to help them do their job, which is saving the state a fortune. Yeah.
Well, I think too it means different things to different people. Do you know what I mean? I think that's how I would sum it up. Just listening to Jason, for some people it's all
encompassing.
Exactly, all encompassing. That's the word I was trying to think of. And for others, as Jason said, it's a smaller kind of role for them. But it's all caring. We'd have a lot of carers who contact and say, well, I'm not a carer, but I could do a little bit of help. And
I know.
It's, and even in our own family circumstances, we might have said, oh, I'm not a carer. You know what I mean? But you'd find you might be supporting someone after an operation or something like that. It could be short term, it could be long term. So it means different things, I think, for different people. It's probably the easiest way.
And I think it's interesting that you mention the number of hours that somebody would put in, because it sounds as though being a carer can actually come up to being a full-time job.
Absolutely.
And more, much more as well. I mean, you delve into the realms of full-time carers, and quite often they're doing multiples of 35 hours a week. If someone you love is diagnosed with a dementia, it's a case of being there, and being there all the time. And if you have no one to cover for you, you can't get away. So you are there literally 24/7 with that person. So the roles can vary, the needs of the person can vary as well, but the demands can be incredibly hard on people.
Which then in turn, I suppose, is where the burnout side of things.
Yeah, well, we hear a lot of it from men in sheds, is in that the shed is nearly a sanctuary from their day-to-day life. If somebody is in an intense sort of a caring situation, that the shed can be a place to come and get away from that. I'm going to bring in Rebecca at this point. Do you want to talk a little bit about sheds and the way that men are affected in sheds as carers?
Yeah. So I mean, I guess we're very lucky to have Family Carers Ireland on board with Sheds for Life, and we're very conscious of the feedback we get from men, from our shedders, that we may have men coming into sheds who are looking after somebody at home, or they may be being looked after themselves. So we all have different relationships with caring. For men in particular, the feedback we get is it can be complicated. It can be complicated to recognise yourself as a carer, and it can be complicated and quite complex to normalise some of the conversations we have around caring. And then there's the piece about recognising you need help as a carer. And as has come up here before, we want to keep people in the boat, in the community, living longer at home, being looked after at home, rather than going overboard when things get really bad. What we do find is it can be challenging for people to ask for help, and it can be particularly challenging, we know this from other health issues, for men of certain generations who've grown up with expectations, cultural, social, a kind of get on with it. I should be able to manage this. I am the person in the family who should be able to keep all the balls in the air and manage things. So this conversation really is very useful because, as Ben said, sheds can be an antidote to the sometimes very lonely and isolating sense that you can have as a carer when you're looking after someone. So this is about opening up pathways into support. So I'm just wondering on that, Sinead, what you think, how would you suggest our men, the people listening here, might take that first step to get in contact if they feel they need a bit of support, or even after listening to this, they feel, oh, that
might be me. Yeah. So I suppose we've a number of ways of making contact, but the main one is our care line, which is our national phone line. So calling that, and we can give out the number at the end actually if you want, or but we also would have centres across the country as well in different towns. So seeing if you have a local centre on the, check our website. Not everyone's technically, you could ring the care line and ask if you'd rather meet someone in person. Do you know what I mean? But the care line is probably the main port of call. And then, like, if there's a local centre, you can go and meet a lovely manager such as Jason, who's here in Wexford. And, there's kind of that piece where people will come in and get a bit of like one-to-one. And they might just need something small. Some people will come to us, and there's a lot of people who just come to us for like basic entitlement. They might, how do I get a payment or something like that. And there's other people then, they're really at the stage of burnout, and that's, the point where they really need to be coming to us. Do you know what I mean? We do aim to reach people before they reach burnout, but obviously, as we said, we don't know that they're out there and they haven't come to us. So, by coming to us, then we can help out.
Can I just say something on that?
Yeah, hop in there.
If you're in a shade, there's always one man that knows a lot.
Yes.
If no hand to ask him, could you help him in some way?
Yeah.
And he can point you in the right direction. Which has happened here a good few times. So
absolutely,
that's all you need is just one person.
And that's very much part of the way that sheds operate is that shoulder to shoulder. That they're helping.
You just need one bit of help. That's all. Just ask for it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be.
It's really interesting as well in what is a brilliant report that Family Carers Ireland produce it's biannual. But some of the statistics in that, yes, you've spoken about the men and men not identifying necessarily, recognising themselves as carers. That's one thing and very relevant to our audience. But the other things that I'm really struck by, 71% of carers say their own health is negatively affected by looking after someone. So there is a sense as well with this conversation is it's so important to look. You always say it on the planes. Look after your own oxygen mask, so you can help somebody
when
else.
When you're doing care, you're putting them first before you.
Yes.
You don't think about yourself.
Yeah.
You're actually thinking about the person that you're caring for.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you may not even realise that you're reaching this point where you
don't
really
realise how bad you're getting, because
Yeah.
you're trying your best for the person that you're caring for.
Yeah. And it is
then
things
you do
like,
forget about yourself.
Yeah.
it is like, things like it's like they're kind of, I suppose, things that happen slowly over time. Like you might change of appetite, not sleeping, just complete exhaustion. There's big financial constraint as well of being a carer. So it's sometimes just hard to financially look after yourself. You might not be able to afford to go to the doctor all the time, or you might not be able to afford the things you need to be able to care for yourself. So there's a whole range.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I suppose in a way then that there's a real importance then in being able to share that with somebody and get that sort of weight, if you like, off your chest,
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
that's where your phone line
Yeah.
comes in.
And like Jason was saying, as our managers go through kind of a step-by-step process of, of
Yeah,
checking on those things and seeing if...
We have a carer assessment, which is
Yes.
like a guided conversation, and it covers several topics. But the first topic is, how are you? It doesn't even start with the caring role. We're asking the person how you are.
And doesn't the carer always still tell you how
About
the cared for person?
Yes.
Yeah.
You'd often
The
find
first
that
natural. It's just natural. It's the first thing you say.
anytime you ask a carer how they are, they talk about the person they care for. So you
Yeah.
have to direct them back. Now, how are you? And so we talk about themselves physically, how their physical health is, how their emotional and mental health is. We have supports with a counselling service as well, which is incredible. The amount of good work that has done since it came into operation. I think around during COVID time it was formalised, and we've subsequently got continued funding for it. But it is a brilliant service that helps numerous carers throughout each year. Just being able to talk to someone, and we ourselves, I mean, if you come and talk to us, the very least we can be is a listening ear. So we can guide you, we can give you information on your rights and entitlements, we can try and increase your confidence as a carer with our training and educational resources. Try and combat isolation, because caring, when it does come over encompassing, it takes over your whole life. It can leave you with very little opportunity to do things for yourself. But self-care is important. So we would have carer groups going on around the country. We would have social activities that we operate around the country. And for people who can't get out to those in-person things, we have a huge range of online things now. Since COVID as well, that gave us a bit of a kick up the backside to try and be able to connect with people when you couldn't physically get out there and do it. So our online content is amazing at the moment, and a magnificent woman called Nora Duffy, who is our
she's
virtual
fabulous,
support manager, runs that.
It's amazing the amount of
the amount of
webinars that get
outputs,
run.
yeah.
I'm always just astounded by them, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've the same experience in Sheds since COVID. People have had to literally embrace the technology and have had to go out there and get and watch the YouTubes and the the various things, because there's not an option, like you say, Jason. It's like that.
I just to come in on that, Ben. I'm just wondering, do you guys recognise, what kind of specific barriers prevent people reaching out for support? Like, I mean, what do people tell you? Because I'm sure when there is a relief when people actually make contact with you, and I'm pretty sure you hear all the time, I wish I got in contact
I think
with
the
you
main
a long time ago.
Well, firstly, people need to know we're there. Do you know what I mean? So, being able to come on a podcast such as this and get our name out there, we're there and we're there a long time, but just, I don't know, sometimes people just don't know what's in their local community, I suppose. What services, there's loads of services for various different things in Ireland, and people don't know that they're there. And I suppose it's kind of sitting down and saying, I am a carer, isn't it, Jason? Like, it's identifying that they are a carer and, being okay with getting help. A lot of carers feel they have to do it all, don't they?
Who won't ask for it.
They're
scared.
Yeah.
It's actually scared, really, that they won't ask and go out.
Do you think there's a sense of letting the person down, letting yourself down,
Yes.
weakness
Totally
or guilt or
'Cause you're
shame?
starting
It's all of that, isn't it?
A lot of it, like, people think they're shamed and they're scared and all, but they're not. All they need is a bit of help. But they're afraid to get it out there and ask.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And there is loads of help. And I was lucky, because I said to Jason, my sister was working with
She volunteered on our care line.
and she was able to tell me, so I was lucky that way.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of men now that are struggling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to even find out what you're saying there now today, like, they won't even go look at it.
But I know from my own personal experience, when I was caring for my mother years ago, before we were even Family Carers Ireland, we used to be the Carers Association. And I Googled the Carers Association. I signed up as a member of the Carers Association, but not once did I set foot in the office in Wexford. Not once did I ring them. I just managed myself. And we just got through that time. But I mean, looking back, I could have done with maybe someone to talk to. At least engaging with other carers, people who understand what you're going through. They might be caring for people with completely different conditions, but you have an empathy and an understanding of what someone is going through. And when you're talking with other carers, it's a space where you can speak freely and not feel vulnerable or that you're going to be criticised. Because people understand the demands and the pressures of the caring roles.
And sometimes people just need like one conversation, and they're good and
Yeah.
they're grand. They feel like, right, I'm doing everything I can do. I know times I was talking to carers, they say, well, I can say you're actually doing really well. You have all the rights and entitlements you need, and you have this and that, and they want reassurance that they're doing the caring role correctly. Do you know, if for want of a better word, but
They're
like
trying to find out that they're doing it for the
they're
person.
doing it
Yeah.
right,
They're
yeah.
doing it right
Yes.
for the person.
And then other people, as you say, they just, and it's not that they're not doing it right, but it's just that they need more support. They don't have the things they need, you know, they don't have the resources or the supports. They, like so many people with Qantas wouldn't even like have a social welfare payment to support them. They wouldn't have,
Right.
you know, the basic needs, you know what I mean? So it's all different levels is what I'm trying to say.
And it sounds as though there have been some great improvements. I mean, you talk about your centres. You can't really be that far from some help
Generally,
physically,
yeah,
wherever you
either physically, online, or over the phone. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But even in areas, I mean, we don't have centres in every county. It'd be lovely
Yeah.
if we had the funding to do that, but we just don't. Even in areas which are covered remotely, there is still availability for people to meet up with their local support manager.
Yeah.
The support manager will meet you at a neutral venue rather than a
There's a
dedicated
good,
carer
strong
centre.
team of managers there
Absolutely.
as well. Yeah.
Okay, Martin, I'm going to come around to you in a little bit, and I want you to tell us a bit about your sort of experience as a carer. What's it like in the day to day, and you know what
I don't even really think of it.
right?
I just do it.
Yeah.
You know, as I said, I 36 years an unofficial carer, but then officially last 10 years I got help.
Okay.
So that's what it's been like. 'Cause I've been trying to work through nights when she done her back in.
Okay.
It took me 2 years to learn how to walk.
Right.
I never asked for help. I just tried to do it myself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And about 13 years ago, I had a complete breakdown
Right.
myself.
Yeah.
And then my wife's mother died. She had a breakdown, and I forgot about myself.
Okay.
So the bit of relief that I got was I joined the Shed, and I was lucky enough. I had a man took me under his shoulder,
Yeah.
kept me going for that, you know, and that brought me around, bring myself. I was thinking about myself then, and every time we come into the Shed now, it's sort of it's my time.
Yeah.
But the minute I leave the Shed, it's my wife's time, which I
Sure.
look after. And caring it's a 24/7 job.
Yeah.
You don't realise it, but you just do it.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Like you're just getting on with it and doing it. And so, thank God, touch wood, that she's doing really well, and we're both doing well. So I've sort of learned over the years. Now, as I'm chairman of the Shed here, I will try and help others just for an ask. If I can send them somewhere, give them a number, help that'll do.
Yeah.
And I've seen it with men here that they are caring, they come in here for a bit of relief, and they, as we always said in there, you mightn't come in mad, but you go out mad because you have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
You just forget about life for a couple of hours,
Yeah.
and that's the biggest thing. But then everything goes back to normal. If
Yeah.
anything happens, then you're there. You know what you're doing. You've done. But
And
you
I-
do need help.
Yeah, and it's nice. I think that's one of the things that's so strong in sheds. You know, a man will open up about something in a shed, and it might well be
He'll go to
a health
another man.
issue, or it could be you know, he's struggling with the overwhelm of
Well-
looking after somebody at home. But if you mention that in a shed, it is highly likely that there will be somebody
There's
else
someone else. There's always
going
like,
through
there's actually
something
three.
similar.
There's
So
actually
that's
three,
the power
three
of the
men
shoulder
here
to shoulders.
who are
Yeah.
carers.
There you go.
There's
Yeah.
three of us.
Oh, with so many carers in the
You know,
country, definitely.
And then if someone comes in, they're not in great form, you have a chat with them,
Yeah.
talk to them. Now what happens stays between us, it doesn't go outside the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All set in the shed, stay
That's
in
why
the
stay in the
shed.
shed, stay in the shed. That's it.
That's right.
But I mean,
that's right. It's the beauty.
We've had men over the years now. We had one man, he was here and he was very low. Now he left after 6 months, went to Kildare to live with his sister. And he said to us before he went, do you know something? If I hadn't come in here that day, I wouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm.
And we done nothing, only talked. Had a laugh, had a joy, stuff like that. And that was his relief for a couple of hours there.
Yeah, but it's given, you know, and we hear that far too frequently in
But
our
you
team,
have to-
you know. But isn't it great? Can you imagine a world without sheds?
No, no,
Where,
not at the moment, no.
You know,
No,
where
not at the moment.
where there wasn't that
Yeah,
opportunity
yeah.
to have that empathy, to have that connection, to get that informal support, because you know sheds aren't really, they're not you know, and carers, the carers are not substitutes for proper public provision. And I understand again from your report that I don't know, family carers share that or save the state up to about 20 billion. You estimate. Like, that is an
I think that's a generous estimation these days as well, because I think that number was based on 19 million hours a week at a rate of €20 an hour if you were paying someone to do that. But if you wanted to pay an agency care worker, you're looking at €30 an hour. So
that's what it is. It's absolute crazy, like. But people just do it because they love the person. And that's the biggest thing.
That's it.
People, no matter what it is, the people, you love who you're caring for, and you just do it.
And Martin,
it's hard days. Like, there is times like you just want to give up on yourself, not the person. It does really go to you. But if you have a bit of support or somewhere along the line, now I've been lucky. I've had the carers and I've had a shed, so I've been doubly lucky.
So do you think incorporating something like now? And again, sheds aren't for every man. Sometimes if you want to join a shed, it's about finding the shed that's the right fit or the right match, not always in the same village.
They all do different.
But do you think it has been of benefit to you and I guess this is for the others as well, is it useful as a carer to build in some sort of routine, some sort of outlet, that piece? Because basically what we're saying is shed is an option out there for self-care.
Well, it's good to have the carers involved with it. Because as I said to you, there's no information. The lads won't ask for information. Men won't ask for information. They won't ask for anything. If you have little bits of information up on the board or anywhere like that, or the lads leave the number, like I always have the lads' number, and I know if they ask me about it, I'll always send them to the Henry Registry, wherever one is based.
So there's signposting available.
Yes, just to have a little bit of information. Like, if the lads have information, we were at one in White's a good few years ago, and we picked up a whole heap of information. We were outside talking about men's shed, but we brought up the information and kept it up there. That's all you need. If you could, like, as I said, with men's shed, when we're involved together now, maybe get a bit more information. Two different sheds. A little few leaflets. But you'll always have to, everyone has a notice board. Stick it up and there, like, if someone. Don't be afraid to ask. That's one way. Don't be afraid.
And all our sheds now have health and wellbeing toolboxes, so that, because what we were finding was with all the partners we work with, including yourselves, you know, sheds have some of them have notice boards, some of them have drawers. You'd go in and you'd find out somebody had been in, they'd had a support workshop on something, some health issue or well-being area of interest, and anything that was left behind it wasn't in one place. Whereas what we've done is we got funding to provide health and well-being toolbox. We always say they're the most important toolbox in the shed. They're strictly not for spanners or hammers. And we always say that when we're handing them out. But it is the one place where men know, if you're looking for information about a health issue, you go to your health and wellbeing toolbox.
But there's always one man, like this, unfortunately it's me in the shed. They'll come and ask me something, and if I can help them, I really do. But I've learned that over the years. It's not something that came natural. I just had to focus on stuff for myself. And now if someone comes into me, like, just for a few seconds, say, can you tell me where this is or what that is? No problem. I Google it, as I call it, Google it. It's 2 minutes to get the number.
And you've done that, Martin, by learning how to look after yourself, how to create your own routine. And as Rebecca was talking about routines there, you have to factor yourself into your routine as well. Now, things will happen that will throw you off your routine, but you can always come back to that. That is your basis. And if you can have a couple of hours to come to the men's shed once a week, or
even
twice
an
a
hour
week,
to pop in and say hello, and just a cup of tea and go.
Somewhere to take you out of that caring role, engage with other people. It's good for mind, body and soul just to be able to do that. So men's sheds are ideal in that regard.
Get your head in a shed. That's the big message, isn't it?
That's true.
Martin, I'm just going to go back to you again for a second. Tell us what over the long time and today, what would be your, say, biggest challenges over the, say, historically, and what's your biggest challenge today now as a carer?
Well, at the moment I'm in the right place. It's not being in the right place is the biggest thing. There wasn't enough over the years, not enough help from the government for carers. That's my biggest, like, I think they're, in my opinion, they're not doing nothing. You know, sort of like, that's what I feel about it. Because there's genuine people out there who need help. They're doing it 24/7, and that's their life. but to have no help.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I find over the years.
I suppose that taps into like Family Carers Ireland, our our byline, our tagline, or whatever you want to call it. No one should have to care alone.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean? And that's what we want, is that nobody is feeling completely alone like
But that's
that.
the way it's been since I started. Like, there was no help,
Yeah.
and then it's over the years. Like, as my sister like helped me, and the lads
Yeah.
helped me down there, so I know what's coming.
Yeah.
But you have to ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's room. There's
always room for improvement. There's massive room for improvement
Yeah.
in carers from the government.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like the lads here giving their time, they're doing their job perfect,
Yeah.
but they can only do so much with what they're given. If there's the government could put more, I don't know what way to do it. Like, you know yourself, Jason, you'd know
Yeah.
better what they could do. But if there was more help coming that way, it would be brilliant for every care, every type of care.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's also about acknowledging organisations like yourself who actually are there at the moment, and you know, we're here in the room. This is about creating pathways in for those men now that are caring. You can't sit around waiting for more funding or for changes. You know, it's what is available now, and I think there is quite a lot.
It's
you
good
know,
to
even-
keep the mindset
And there
in with the
are-
carers.
Yes,
You know, you need
yeah,
groups like that, like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
with this podcast you'll get it out more to mention, different men,
Yeah.
who probably don't know nothing about it.
And it starts
It could
the
be just one
conversation.
person sitting down, I'll be listening to it now, and they're going, yeah, I can do that. You know, they can say to themselves, well, I'm after listening to that, if that helps one person, it's one person that wasn't helped before.
Yeah. And it comes back again to people realising that they are a carer.
Yeah.
You're not just doing this out of, like I said earlier, I'm a husband, a father or a son. You are doing this because someone is becoming dependent on you or has become dependent on you. So if you are in that role, if you know someone who needs that extra bit of support that they maybe didn't need before, start recognising yourself as a carer. In that supporting role, you are caring for them. And if you need support, you know where to come. Contact Family Carers Ireland, your local support.
Well, I was
team.
26 years doing it
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
I'm official, could do it officially, like.
Well, you were official.
I know, I was official from the start. Well, I
For the
didn't
full
think that.
Yeah.
I didn't
You
think
didn't
that.
think you were a carer.
Yes,
like,
that's
you just
exactly
thought you were a
what
husband.
happened. People do
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah.
what happens.
There's
And
There-
do you know, like, there are some improvements coming. Do you know, like, there was like some recent improvements with carers allowance, things like that. But the more people coming forward, the more awareness there is. I think that has to lend to it eventually. Hopefully.
Yeah, and I know
Hopefully
you,
it keeps more and more.
you
going.
guys really advocate as well
Yes,
on behalf of the whole wide
Well,
range.
the
of
organisation nationally is there to advocate and lobby for carers, to raise awareness about carers.
Yeah.
So we do things like our pre-budget submission is just being released now, and there are 9 asks of the government in that, 9 different areas
pillars,
where we want change. And we do that every year, and it's a slow process. You're
Just
banging on
very
the door,
slow.
or
Yeah.
maybe banging your head against a brick wall most of the time,
Yeah.
and it takes years and years, if not decades, to change things.
Yeah.
Like the positive changes to the carers allowance that have happened in the last few years, that's been going on for decades.
For a long time.
Us campaigning for it to remove the means test
The means
altogether.
test, that's what I was
Yeah.
just going to say.
But you know what, although, you know, all the time these things happen though. They're all steps forward. It's all
Exactly.
progress.
Yeah.
And all of the time it's normalising the conversation around
Yes.
caring.
Yeah.
And that's really what
Yeah.
we are trying to encourage as well, is normalising
That's it.
the conversation around caring.
Are there any small things on a sort of a community level? Because men's sheds, essentially, they are community spaces. They're embedded within communities. Are there any kind of small changes on a community kind of level that can make a difference to carers and people within the community? Is it that thing of coming together? Is it that thing of I don't know, creating the space? And either of you want to take?
I don't know. I mean, going on my own experience, and again, my last caring role was looking after my dad, and it was me on my own. And I knew I was the support manager for Family Carers Ireland in Wexford at the time.
Yeah.
I knew the supports that were out there. It was just trying to manage the caring role and reach out and have time, because the Department of Social Protection might be a bit dubious that 24/7 caring roles do exist, but I lived through one for the last 3 months of my dad's life.
Yeah.
And without him being willing to accept help from outside, I wasn't able to access help from outside. So You're stuck in that role. I think if there's any understanding, if there are family members, neighbours, friends who know you're in such a role, do something practical. Don't try and give advice or tell people what they should do, but maybe do something practical. Make a meal and drop it at the door.
Yeah,
Say,
exactly.
Here,
Yeah.
that saved you a job today.
Or leave them out for an hour. You know, like sometimes people get respite just to go get maybe their hair done or something.
Someone just come and sit down and talk to the man or talk as your father. If someone just came in for half an hour, sit down. You go to the kitchen for a cup of tea.
I get out for a walk.
That's it. That's
like
it's something so simple.
Yeah.
That's all you need. It's nothing you're asking for big, but just a little thing like that, and it does make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose
Absolutely.
if you know someone in your community, you know, and say you're listening to this and you know someone down the road, you know, drop me the number or something to try to get them to contact us.
Absolutely.
Or as I said, pop in and
Pop
just
in,
give
minutes.
them an hour out or half hour out, whatever you can
That's
do.
it,
You know what I mean?
Makes a hell of a
It all
difference.
helps. Yeah.
Now, speaking of that number, Sinead,
Yes.
what is the number?
So it's 1-800 24 07 24.
1-800 24 07
24.
24.
That's it.
And the website where people can go to find out where the centres are.
Yeah, it's
Jason?
familycarers.ie. Just Google family carers and you'll find us.
Exactly.
Familycarers.ie. That's super. The men's sheds, of course, you can find at menssheds.ie as well. Martin, I want to thank you first for hosting us here in the wonderful Wexford Working Men's Shed. Now it's a fine
fabulous
space.
shed, yeah.
So well done. Thanks for that. Sinead and Jason, Family Carers Ireland, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure and very informative.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much. All right, folks, that's all we have time for today. See you soon.